advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Middara Unintentional Malum, Act 1. So we're about like a tenth of the way in.
Oh, yeah.
No,
yeah. Like 5 sessions? Has it been like 5? 6?
It's been a few. I mean, we had, the
like 2 arcs, or is it 3 arcs?
2, let's see, 3, 4, we had one where it was just reading, so 5. Yeah, about 6, 7, probably 7. Yeah, then like 8. Yeah, about 10 total videos, 9 or 10. Nowhere near anywhere this massive book is offering, but always want to do at least a discussion, and then at the end of the series, or depending if it goes, I mean, it's definitely going to go longer than KVM did, have multiple discussions as it continues to go. But yeah, so this is a massive dungeon crawl campaign game. It is designed based off the publishers and designers, Succubus Publishing and Brooklyn Lunsburg. Alex, Brenna, and Clayton have basically stated this game is meant to be played for like a couple hours every week for about 6 months, is how they planned it. I mean, it has it on the box. It's a narrative-driven game, so it is huge to read, which, I mean, we have the foreteller app, which makes it...
It's quite necessary, honestly.
I would agree. For some reason, that's just easier to do and listen to than it is to just actually read it in here. But if you're going to have the foreteller app to do the narrative stuff, then you can't really follow along in the book too much because it actually kind of takes its own liberties, and I think makes it flow a little bit more.
For sure.
It's not just...
You're like, are you guys writers?
Right.
And this is a lot of crap.
Yeah, it's hard, especially within board games. There's been a few campaign board games where the writing is spectacular, but most of the time it's not. Anyway, so Middara is a huge, basically modern JRPG game where you play as 4 specific characters going through... I mean, there's going to be 3 acts in this entire saga where they plan to do live service of supporting it, similar to like the bounties you can get. It's in the box. But they have like their own world they've created, their own map. I believe probably this is one part of the map. And it seems like it's not cut off, so like there might be for Act 2 and then Act 3 they have the full map.
Yeah.
But yeah, your not standard, but your unique world that I find fascinating, where you can actually get the lore on their website to figure out what Middara actually is, and it's a JRPG, which I tend to love, even though it is kind of, they're always sprawling, have this massive like grind fest. So yeah, Devin, what do you think of Middara?
What do I think of Middara? Well, so far, I have to say I haven't hated it. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's start with the narrative aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, it is certainly very, very narrative. I would highly recommend the foreteller app. It's a lot of words.
Yeah. Literally, certain videos are
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was 30 minutes.
Yeah. And can you imagine me just reading that?
Yeah,
like
for
out
30
loud?
minutes. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is asking a lot. But the foreteller app makes that quite a bit more digestible.
Yeah.
Combat, which is, the core gameplay loop, is pretty interesting. I mean, it's been fairly simple so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot to take in because you've got all these main... I'm sure it'll get more complicated as we play, but there's a lot of slots.
Yeah, I still feel like we are in the tutorial.
Yeah, it's still kind of introducing things.
Yeah.
We've only just gotten our first abilities.
Yeah.
And the most basic of equipment.
Exactly. Yeah, we're still in mundane. And so it's I'm not gonna dog on it too much for its combat, because like I said, and like you said, we kind of got a little bit of a taste of maybe the first continuous dungeon, because the way that I feel this game kind of goes ebbs and flows. How easy and how hard how easy or difficult each encounter is kind of hinges on how the dice go. And I don't much care for that. I like the dice system. I like the way combat works. This is a very free-flowing RPG. You can build each character, even though they start you off literally at the beginning going through like a training session. It's just like, hey, here's their items. And that's kind of their standard build, but you do not have to keep with that at all. Rook could use a bow and arrow. Rook can use 2 daggers. He can, go in a completely different direction that you want to build them, which is fantastic.
And it's like this was our first dungeon past the
trials.
The trials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could have been completely different, but we pretty well mimicked our builds.
Yeah, I think we kind of...
Except for Nightingale. She went a little different.
Yeah, Nightingale went a little bit different. Zeke kind of went a little bit... I mean, we're kind of enhancing a little bit, just kind of experimenting, but still keeping the core theme of what they gave us. But you don't have to do that, which is awesome. And yeah, they have different levels of items and different levels of the disciplines is what they call them, with the 5 different schools that you can mix and match, or you can go all into one. But yeah, so in terms of the narrative, I'm intrigued. And here's what makes this game kind of better than a lot of the other ones, Gloomhaven and all those, is you can figure out what their world's about. They have on their website videos to be like, hey, here's what whatever it's called, Elenia. Here's what Elenia's like. Here's why it's parallel to Earth, and they go back and forth, and they explain all that. So you're not trying to figure out what the hell the world's like. It's like, why am I a regular person talking like I'm like what? I can go to Earth? I don't understand. Right. You can figure all that out without having to piece it together throughout the narrative.
Right. Just everyone's been doing since Dark Souls was a hit, so now it's just like, oh, no narrative at all?
Yeah.
Let's do that. That's easy.
Right, but it's actually not, because Dark Souls does have a story, you just have to find it, where some games are just like, oh, let's just not give you anything. But we have it, we know it, but you guys don't get to know it. Dark Souls! And it's like, no, that's not why those games are great. But yeah, so with the narrative, I'm enjoying it. The Foreteller app, I know we keep kind of talking about that. Comparing it to the Gloomhaven app, it's kind of lackluster. I mean, it makes it way easier, so you're not reading it. But with the Gloomhaven app, which is weird because it's on Foreteller as well, they have like sound effects, they have different voice actors. Here, it is just a woman reading it, and she tries to do the different voices, but it's passable.
Yeah, but you also have to, I mean, this is essentially, she's doing an audiobook.
That's
so
true.
When you're doing an audiobook, it's like you have to just like, she probably sat down, looked at her script, kind of practiced a little bit, but then went at it and just read the whole book.
Right.
And it's a whole book.
It is a massive, massive book. And even what I thought we would just keep going, no, we're going back. Like, there was something that we didn't even do, but after one encounter, it's just like, oh, okay, now go to a way out. And then it's like, oh, we're going back in it.
Okay.
So it's not even fully linear going through the book. You're going back to paragraphs.
Oh, goddamn.
And what's really cool about the narrative and the way that they've designed it was it's a fully fleshed out world, and your decisions do matter, and how well you do in encounters matter. It's not one of those, like, Gloomhaven is kind of one where it's like, if you fail the encounter, just do it again. And it's like, I'm not doing that. Like, Folklore, I mean, all these kind of campaign games are like, hey, if you failed to do this, just do it again. Or there was one, it wasn't me and you, it was Aeon's End, but it was like, hey, fight this monster again, it's just a little bit easier now. And it's like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
It's a board game. I don't have to do that. Video game's a different story. I have to do it to progress.
Yeah.
Here, it's just like, well, we did it. But what's great about this is, like, if we failed any of these encounters, like all of us were defeated, that takes us to a different section.
Oh, shit. Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of it, I mean, if we failed a good example, slight spoilers, I guess, if we had failed, like, the graduation ceremony, it would have taken us to a permanent ending. Like, it would have just been like, oh, you're actually not cut out to become citizens. Like, you go back to school.
Yeah.
Granted, I feel like you'd have to really try to fail, or
For
dice
sure.
you only rolled bad, and they only rolled great.
Yeah, and the way these dice are designed, like every single color suit, it's like you've got half the sides are just not super great, not a lot of symbols, and then the other half are just stellar.
Yeah.
So if you happen to roll a double stellar, which is fairly likely.
It's fairly balanced, yeah.
So it's not terrible. So it's like they design it to where like you're gonna fucking fail. You're gonna do fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in between.
Yeah, you do a little bit of damage, but you get compensated for the icons and stuff. So yeah, like the way that the story is driven, it is not necessarily linear. They do have hard endings, but they also, based off what the videos of the designers have said, they will tell you, hey, by the way, this is a pretty big moment. So you're not just blindsided by an ending. And I appreciate that. Because if you're going to spend 6 months playing a game, you don't want to be blindsided by a fucking, oh, we didn't know that was, going to cause us to have this ending.
Oh, okay.
So they've designed it so you are aware of certain decisions. Which I always like, because if you want to replay it, you'd be like, oh, we made this decision last time, let's do the other one.
Big choice moment.
Yeah.
Big brain time.
And I do like that. So that's the narrative portion. Very much like it. Now, you mentioned combat, so...
I mean, just touch the tip of it there. But
pretty much.
It does have quite a few. I mean, it takes a little bit to get used to.
Yes.
It's like a big keyword fest.
Yes. They do something familiar but different in terms of like how you fight, which I actually enjoy. So you have stamina points. That's kind of your action points. That's not unique really in any way. Like kind of what you can do as many actions as you have stamina points allowed. So if you have a bunch of ways to generate stamina points, you can keep going and be a badass. But what I do like about combat is the fact that your enemies, similar to, kind of like, really folklore and KDM, you have a target number to hit, and there's a few other ones that I know you haven't played, but Shadows of Brimstone, there's always ones where you have a number to hit, and then to see if you hit them, and then you have your damage roll. They do something similar like that here, which I actually prefer. Hey, here's their defense. If you don't hit that defense, you don't do any damage. However, if you do hit it, your damage is what you do over that. I like that. What are your thoughts on kind of how... Do you like the combat?
Yeah, it's not too bad, and it's certainly... it's interesting to me because it feels actually surprisingly lethal at times.
Yeah.
Because if the enemy rolls fucking great, as we saw with Zeke and Nightingale, both of your characters just took a fucking ass raping of like, it's a lot of fucking damage. And I know that's why I'm seeing why they give us all these mitigators.
Yeah.
Our dodges for free, our fucking, re-rolls and shit. Just all manner of, once per encounter crap to avoid those inevitable big hits.
Right.
And then, but then a lot of the time, I know you've been kind of had some complaints with it, but the enemies just really struggle to challenge us.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I don't like combat. Is yes, at the end of the day, I mean, whenever through the narrative they make it seem like the stakes are super high, and then we just breeze through every fucking enemy, and then I'm just kind of like, all right, we just have to make it to that spot. Let's just say we did it. I mean, they have a way so we can't just dilly-dally and just run around and pick up stuff. You have a timer if no enemies are there. But, yeah, combat's a little bit swingy. And the only time that I ever felt challenged was actually it wasn't this one, or it wasn't the one before this, it was... the one prior to that.
The third act of the Mask?
I think so. Well, that one was pretty decent, but...
we had like a Waterloo, we had this fucking Scythe Foxes.
It was this one. We had two animates, and then a Waterloo, and then another one came back.
The animates, yeah.
But the way that the map was laid out actually made it pretty difficult to actually kind of hit them. We had to run around, and then they were getting really good rolls where we weren't. And... to me, it's kind of like, well, that's not that the monsters were challenging. It's just that the dice didn't go our way. And it's so hard to balance. Like, I feel like Gloomhaven does a really good job at balancing kind of like challenging monsters because you're limited to the cards in your hand and you slowly burn out of things like that. And obviously that's not in this game, so... oh, I missed on this roll, they missed, we go back and forth, but you just keep rolling dice until one of you rolls higher.
Yeah.
And and it was becoming more apparent because each time they're like, "Oh, hey, this Gevwadon, like don't. Oh man, it's gonna fuck you up." Yeah, we kill it in one hit. Oh, the Earth Loa. Hey, here's a tip: untouchable monsters. Yeah, I just dealt 20 damage to it. It's dead. And it's not that the combat's bad. It's just very anticlimactic. And for the game to be the crux of combat, I'm finding I get bored. Like I'm sitting there, and yeah, even though Cave Sickles kind of like can one shot a fighter, I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, that's not because they're smart or they played any better or I played any worse.
Yeah, there's no like
they
tactical
just,
aspect.
Yeah, they just rolled high. And okay, yeah, you hit my defense. Okay, I guess I'll dodge. Okay, I get one. Okay, yep, you still do damage to me. Like, I have no armor, I have no way to heal, so... Okay, that's that. I guess Zeke's dead. Like, it was kind of like the same qualms we had with Folklore. Like, Folklore wasn't maneuvering, or like, they had to sneak around, or we didn't kill him in the right, order. It was just, yep, alright, they rolled that, and a 7 and an 8. That will deal damage to everyone here. Yeah. On top of their symbols that they get to. And it reminds me a little bit of, like, L5R. Like, you know how the combat in that, it was like, yeah, we're still humans, so, like, it's not D&D where you have an AC and then you have damage reduction and stuff like that. It's just like, yep, bursting dice, and one slice can kill you. And it's supposed to have that weight of lethality when you're running through a dungeon. But... I don't know. I just kind of find it as like a fake difficulty. Yeah. And even then, when Zeke goes down, there's no real stakes there. It's just like, oh, okay, he's gonna come back. Obviously, he's in the story.
Yeah, they definitely lean more towards like the gear up. Yeah. As kind of like your strategic aspect, because they know a lot of people like that kind of thing. You know, customizing your characters and whatnot. I mean, granted, there's only so much we can do at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely so far it is pretty trivial.
Right. And it seems like their difficulty, which we kind of thought was coming into the...
yeah, definitely the 3-act thing where we don't get to refresh. It's supposed to be like... It's supposed to wear us down to where all of our resources are spent.
Yep. We use our whatever these are... We use our consumables. We hold on to them. We've taken damage. Okay, well, that one was easy. So we go to the middle tier. Oh, we kind of got beat up on that one. And, oh, okay, now we have a healer. And then this... I mean, it's just kind of like... The way this was read... does not coincide with what actually happens. This is an Earth Loa. It's supposed to be imposing. It didn't hit anyone. And, like, there's times where I'm sitting here playing, and I'm like, I don't want us to lose, obviously, because that would be more annoying. I just want a challenge. Like, I want to sit here and be like, look, it would be nice if the Earth Loa hit Rook and dealt 5 damage. Doesn't kill him, but, oh, shit, okay, that's 5 damage, alright. But nope. Oh, okay. It rolls a 9. Oh, you have a defense of 10. It misses.
Because I built him like a tank.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the way initiative works. That's always fun because that's.
So when we're doing their AI, like, is there like a rule of death in this game? Like they're supposed to go after the least optimal character?
No, it depends on what it says. Okay. There is kind of a rule of death.
Because we can always just make them, target Rook, who always has 4 armor.
It is dependent on their technicalities. So, there is kind of golden rules in here. Yeah, multiple choices. Let's see. They'll never defeat themselves. They'll never hurt themselves. And yeah, it does kind of come down to rule of death is kind of how you mentioned it. Is the reason why he didn't? It says nearest opponent. The nearest opponent was Rook. Now, if it was, like, between Rook and Nightingale as nearest opponent, then, yeah, it would go towards the weaker one. And if they're both tied, then we decide.
Gotcha.
But in that case, yeah, I mean, having him target Rook, thematically makes the most sense. I mean, it was there, he was up on it, it would go after the big guy, the big fucking threat. But, yeah, no, there's no reason why it would turn, because also it wouldn't move away, because that would cause a break attack.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of... Once again, I'm not harping on it too much because, yeah, we did... Nightingale has dropped. Zeke has dropped. Remy's almost dropped. Rook's still going strong.
Infinite strength.
But And this still very much seems like the tutorial. This is chapter 1 out of 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, at least they're broken up in Foreteller into 5 chapters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do have fucking chips of 50.
That is true.
So,
yeah.
God knows we'll be fighting Hographer at some point.
Right, yeah. And, I mean, depending on... And I like the way that the enemies work. Like, everything on them is here. Each enemy has backstory, so you know about them. I think that's really cool. Yeah, they have their passive abilities as well as, hey, it does this. If it can't, it goes down. Boom, boom, boom. And it has basic rules. I love the extra thematic stuff with maneuvering around here. Like, there's actually rules for jumping to get over hard gaps, difficult terrain, items you can get, like a wooden plank to put it over.
Yeah,
so
just ignore the
drop
terrain.
it just to run up the terrain. It all works. But yeah, combat does kind of boil down to, oh, all right, I miss. Okay. Oh, it doesn't. It rolled 2 8s. Oh, I guess I'm dead. Like, so it almost kind of, it's like, man, you put so much effort into this intelligent AI, and yet it all is out the window, depending on if they just roll like shit.
Right. It's like, that's kind of the sacrifice you make for a card like this.
Yeah.
Make it nice and succinct versus, then there's the Gloomhaven route where they have a deck.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
or KDM.
Yeah, because it's like you can see what they will be doing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so if I maneuver like so, nothing's going to happen to my guys, and he's just going to keep focus on Rook.
Yeah.
And we're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, obviously, it's not bad enough for me to be like, I'm just done. Because everything else I love about this game.
Yeah.
Like, even the minutiae, because it is cool. It's like, oh man, I just hit it. I just hit its defense. Oh, but I have all these symbols. But they compensate it with other, static effects. Water Loas, yeah, you don't get those symbols.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of enemies here. And there's, I mean, for the record, these are all just the monsters.
Oh, the basic.
Like the basic monsters. We
haven't fought a boss yet.
No, we haven't. These are kind of mini bosses, if anything. There's another hidden deck that you don't open until it tells you to. And here's my worry though with the way that the tutorial has gone is Rook barely gets touched. Like, I just hope there's a balance. Obviously, the way that they built it, you can build a tank. I don't want Diablo. I don't want here where literally you one-shot and you take no damage. Because it's not fun for anyone else. It's like, why am I here? Like, it's supposed to be a team of 4. They are putting enemies in here that Rook can one-shot. And it's like, I just don't... Or Remy. It's just like, I just don't want to sit here and be like, man, I am not contributing at all. I guess I'll go grab the loot. I'll be the bitch boy, water boy and go get the loot. So I hope that the encounters continue to, hey, by the way, that was your tutorial. Here's actually what's going to start happening.
Okay.
Because they can make it challenging, kind of the way Gloomhaven does, where there's scenario effects. Ooh, in this encounter, like, because sometimes there's like, hey, you're going to a mountain in Gloomhaven, for example. Add 3 -1s to your skill deck. This one they could just have flat out rules where, I don't know, just certain scenario effects depending on where you're at could make you. That's where the challenge might come in, as well as the continuous. Hey, you're fighting 4 Earth Loas this time, and now that's the beginning. Here's the second encounter, so you did get beat up a little bit. As well as the static effects that continue on that you can't get rid of unless you have specific items to do so.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, we're just going to get more and more cluttered. I mean, we're going to get more disciplines. We're going to get more relics. I mean, God, we can have fucking 6 disciplines. Familiars, companions, weapon upgrades.
Well, familiars and companions come in through I think it's the assemblage. I think that's the discipline where you can summon. And what's really cool is they have outside the game effects too, like where you can go do bounties. There's side quests in this game that you can go do. They only have the one bounty, but for their Act 2, and they're doing print and play support. You go to their website, print off this bounty, and a bounty's a whole nother side quest you can go do.
So we can Grind!
I mean, essentially, or it's like,
I don't know, these kind of games always just hit my sweet game spot.
Right.
So, just the, the collecting the materials, the buying better, the upgrade, the old Skinner box.
And, I mean, because that's the thing is about Middara, is they do everything, they do pretty much everything right. Like, I know you always give me crap because I bring it up, but the biggest box campaign for kind of this price point is KDM. And KDM kind of does that, it's a boss battler, not really a campaign. But what's great about Middara is you're rewarded for the builds you do, unlike in KDM, you're almost penalized for being too good. It's like, oh, yeah, shit, we didn't balance that. Yeah, actually, no, you're always going to hit the, the trap or whatever.
Yeah, you're too fast.
Yeah, you're too fast, so they for some reason, fuck you over. But it's like, where KDM was super difficult, Middara so far seems super simple. It's like, I'm kind of wanting that balance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, like I said...
Folklore.
Folklore
it's like
was...
you'll never hit.
Exactly. And so, Folklore is kind of your Ameritrash, where Middara fits... They do everything else right. Even small things that I think are really cool, where it's like, if there's like a rare item that is in like a store, or you actually find a rare item... no, sorry. If there's a rare item being sold in a store, it's not in the deck for you to find later, because it's at the store. And I like small things like that, whenever you're supposed to randomly shuffle, and like you set that card aside, because it's only being sold at the tavern, or at the market. So really cool things like that. You can make decisions outside. We haven't even hit kind of that resting point.
Yeah, the big...
Where it's like, hey, yeah, where it's like, okay, now you're into, because it goes mundane, common, I think uncommon, then rare, I think is, and then, I don't know if there's one after rare, but yeah, we're still in mundane. And even cool things like that, that's some of the small KDM stuff where it's like, you can find in the combatant loot deck, monster loot, and then certain, like each monster has their own kind of items that you can find, to incorporate into your build. And we happened to actually find the Gewodon tail for Remy.
Yeah.
And it could have gone to anyone, but we're like, we'll give it to her, see how she does with it.
Yeah, she's mobile deeps.
Yeah. And I do like the combination of dice, the different utilizations of the symbols, the special abilities you can give. It is 100% customizable. Like, there is no... Like it, because sometimes games will be like, "Hey, yeah, you can build whoever or build however," but Remy's Nightingale's the mage. Like, you give her a sword, she's gonna suck. It's like, nope, there's no reason to say she can't have everything the Rook
besides
has.
Their core stuff, their core modifiers, like he just gets more heavy and she can fly. So
yeah, Nightingales we haven't done. It costs 3. Oh no, it's once per encounter. She gives all other allies 1 SP, and she gains 2.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
For some reason, I was thinking...
We haven't been using that?
No, well, it's because I was sitting here and I saw the 3 stamina. I was like, oh, it costs 3 stamina to do. No, it doesn't. It's just a once per encounter thing.
Like, let's do it, guys!
Yeah. She gets 2 SP
She gets her tits
back.
out, and we're all energized.
And we're like, ew, yay! And Zeke gets
coming!
Zeke gets to re-roll his dodge. And I do like... The disciplines are super cool, and I like how it costs a bunch of XP to get more. Like, if you want to go
they're big effects.
Yeah, if you want to go into the same school, the same discipline, it costs more XP to do of the same level. So you can either divide and conquer, jack of all trades, or be like, I'm going to be a badass martial discipline. Or we can go with, Rook. Rook could easily have the blade works.
Yeah. Do they have any kind of like refund thing if you wanted to respec? I don't remember if I asked this before.
I don't. I think so, actually. I think there is a way to respec, but I don't remember. And the other thing about this game, unfortunately, with these massive kind of campaign games, is there's a lot of little rules. What I highly recommend is they have on YouTube basically like 15 videos, short videos straight from the designer that teach you how to play the game. It is for the earlier version of Middara, but they do have a video at the very end that talks about the differences. So I highly recommend those. It does wonders in explaining how to play. But kind of at the core, it is relatively simple. Folklore, I felt, was weirdly complex. They had a lot of little rules.
Yeah.
That were kind of annoying. Here, as long as you understand your standard actions and kind of the structure of your turn, you're pretty much going to be able to play, throughout the game. It's little things like respecking or, oh god, what is hulking? What does that mean again? But once again, you can go on Board Game Geek and files. It can teach you. You can print off these sheets where it tells you, hey, here's what abilities do. Here's what making an attack is like, casting spells.
Yeah.
These are really helpful. So that's kind of just tips, some advice when getting into this game. But yeah, I mean, you have any other negatives?
I mean, negative-wise,
and like I said, combat's not my favorite. I love Gloomhaven's combat. I love the pairing work. It's hard for me to kind of top that because that is because it's like the way you're like, okay, here's what I want to do. And I mean, we've played it and seen it happen multiple times where it's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. This will work out really well. And then the monster bum rushes you. It's just all of a sudden like, oh god, it has a 1 initiative, runs up on you, and then your whole plan is, but your plan isn't necessarily fucked. You can be like, okay, I can swap the two options here. It's just kind of hard to beat whenever I like that style of combat so much.
I mean, the fact that they completely sidestep dice.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, and there's been, whenever
there's not a game of Gloomhaven that I've played that I felt like I just crushed it,
Yeah.
I always felt like
comes down to the wire.
Yeah.
And it's just something about card-driven combat. Even Bloodborne has no dice. Whenever I was doing the unboxing, I was like, oh my god, there's no dice. It's like, I was so excited that it didn't use dice because I feel like that's always a cop-out. For me, it's hard to make dice balanced and cool. Here, it's not unbalanced. Like, as we've seen, my people have dropped. Your people take hits, but you're using a lot of your stuff. But it's more just, well, okay, yeah, Zeke and Nightingale are out. Okay, just wipe the floor with them. It's it's inevitable they're gonna die. So, anyway. You have any other negatives?
Negatives? I can't think I have anything that's overwhelming right now. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, besides the general complexity. I'm sure it's a very expensive game, but I cannot complain about price anymore.
For the all-in...
was it like $400, 500?
Yes, for Acts 1, 2, and 3, or 500.
Oh, for all three?
Yes.
$500.
Yep.
So that's still quite a bit of bang.
It is a lot of money.
Quite a few minis, and I mean, it's a lot of cards. You get the whole gear up thing. Hey, if you like, JRPG, if you like a good grindy game where you hunt through, you get your gold as you go, you find cool items, you upgrade just gradually, and you get to watch your characters grow and develop based on your builds.
Yeah, get rewarded how your build goes.
So, and I mean, those kind of games always get me. I mean, that's why I love KDM, that's why I love this, why I love Gloomhaven. I like character growth and gradual upgrades.
Yeah. What makes the price point nothing is I highly recommend you go all in on KDM and then sell it all, but then you'll realize, oh, 500, that's it? 500 for everything?
So then everything else is known.
That is pretty much how I viewed it. It's like, wait a minute, this game costs 500, I get way more bang for my buck, and it's 2 full acts of 6 months worth of content.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I gotta mention, so we keep mentioning JRPG. I am actually amazed that they restrain themselves from making this totally weeby. Like, they're like, Nightingale and Remy aren't wearing nipple tassels and that weird rope kind of like.
Well, I mean, have you seen the character art? There was Miss Belly Shirt, big Tiggle Bitties.
I mean, barely.
Yeah, I mean, their art style's very anime.
It is. Sure, yeah, it is. Sure. But they could have easily been like, I mean, yeah, it kind of has the occult shirt. But still, I think they could have easily gone into where, like, Rook's dick is out the entire time. And, yeah, Nightingale's like, oh, Zeke senpai. Like, it's...
Baka!
Yeah, it's very much, obviously, Japanese anime inspired, but it's not... I feel like some games would have just really...
I mean, they haven't crowbarred a love interest, really. I mean, they've talked about these guys, but they're like, no, they're friends.
Yeah, they're friends.
But that's it.
I mean, look at the art for KDM. It is literally... Like, they literally have wet nurses.
Tits and dicks out. It's
pin-ups. It's just...
Woo!
Like, people who buy, like, those pin-ups...
Sexualized.
Is, they need help. Because it's like, oh, does that bring anything into the game? No. But
yeah, they totally need help. That's why that I shouldn't buy it. It's actually on their shop now because it has released. So you can buy their pinups on their shop.
Oh, I think I saw that because I get emails from them. But yeah, that's what this game didn't do. Like, you don't have 15-year-old girls.
They don't have sexy enemies and.
Yeah, exactly.
And our characters aren't just disgusting.
Right, like you saw the monster in the art for Hografar or whatever. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that is creepy. That's disgusting. But it's not some vagina mouth baby head with a butthole. It's just like, that's not what this game is. So you can play this with your family and actually have a good time. Yeah, it has not made me mad like KDM has. I do not hate this game. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of encompass a lot of it, but yeah, without getting way too into the specifics. You actually get skill checks as well, which I like. That kind of has some Arkham Horror feel.
They're very rare.
They are rare.
I haven't seen too many.
They're more narrative than anything. I mean, I think agility comes into play in combat when you're jumping, and I think
strength a bit.
Strength if you add your strength if you want to help them jump, and then I think perception. Instead of perception, if they fail the jump and someone's nearby, you can make a perception check and try to catch them. Otherwise, it's just an instant death.
Yeah.
So there is a few stuff that comes into play in combat, but yeah, a lot of it is kind of narrative. Hey, but it tells you. I like that. It's not just, hey, pick someone to do a check. It's Zeke needs to make a agility check, and oh, okay, I like that. Now, another negative to some people might be the fact that there are not pinups. There's a bunch of other fighters that you can have, but they are not. You cannot play the campaign with them. You can only do the dungeon crawl.
Gotcha.
Which actually, that's another thing we can talk about is the dungeon crawl, because we did play that. Hey, here's the bounty. Yeah, the Blighted Terror. Ooh. Difficulty 2. But yeah, so your campaign is with these static 4 characters, which I like and dislike, because I like the idea of taking any fighter. Ooh, this person does something completely different, and throwing them in a campaign. But because it is so narrative driven, I also like the fact that, hey, here are the 4 characters. They're going to be mentioned in the story. Because there's been times where you could mix and match, but then, oh, hey, we're not playing with Rook, but Rook's talking. And it's like, wait, why? Okay, I guess it's just T-posing with us. So that could be, I wouldn't say it's a make or break deal. But yeah, you do have to play with these 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, they have another way you can play Middara as strictly a dungeon crawl. If you do not want to put in the time into the campaign, you can get this and do dungeon crawls. We have done this. We've only did the rank 1, like, because they have 5 ranks, and it tells you, oh, okay, go to this, and then it gives you the different stories, and it's a smaller story-driven thing. Pretty much the only thing I would say about that is it's the best way to learn the game. I would never buy this to do that.
Right, for sure.
Like, obviously, you're going to spend the money to play the 6-month campaign. Yeah, so I think that's it now for a discussion. Kind of our general thoughts up until this point. Most likely we'll do a mid-series, like whenever we probably get into higher levels, hopefully with some bosses. What's really cool, they also have an in-game mini-game. Like, I can't remember what it's called. But they do have, kind of like Gwent in The Witcher, they have a game like that. It's a dice-driven game in here. I cannot remember what it's called. But yeah, there's also different types of summoning, like stuff that we haven't even dealt with because they've just never come up. Abraxas Battle Dice is what it's called. So, just cool world building stuff. But yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Middara?
Oh, let's see. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I think they're doing a good job so far. But, yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of dice. But, hey, I mean, I gave KDM a 9 at this point. 9 or 10.
Gave KDM a 10.
Yeah.
I think it's each discussion, because we did 3 for KDM.
Yeah,
I think you gave it a 10 each time.
I still liked it. I feel there's a lot that they can improve. But, anyway, we're not doing this again, Seth. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. You know, I look forward to playing this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like this game.
Sweet. Yeah, I think I am also going to give it a 9. I was thinking about an 8, but the combat is... I'm never pissed off. Like, I'm never like, this is fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. It's more just, yep, okay, that's battle. But we still... What elevates it is because the game is so really well done narrative, is where we can roleplay. Kind of like in D&D, how combat's not my favorite, but whenever you are thematically talking about it, role-playing as characters, we get to roleplay with these because they make it extremely easy. It allows combat to be a little bit more fun than just being the minutia of just, numbers. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Midara's a blast. Can't wait to see, I mean, really, I feel like we're barely scratching the surface for the story. And it also gets it gets a 9 because the company actually gives a shit. Like, they give you the tools, they give you options to go on their website, and they plan on, they've even did a massive update where they hired more people to design these like the dungeons, to help write, to design the bounties, and they're hiring, well, I cannot remember the name of the person they hired, but he was from a well-established company, and he was trying to make scenarios that are like that are unique. I remember one of his examples was like, what do they call them? Almost like hallways, like choke points where only one person can fit. And so he was giving some examples of how he was laying it out, giving more to these unique tiles, to where it's like, hey, between this one and this one is one tile, so only one person can go through at a time. So I'm excited to see what they do. This is the only thing that I think this is the only game that Succubus Publishing has made. So if this is all they're going to do, and they want to make it a world, and so far they're doing a great job. So I'm very excited. So that's it, everyone. That's our thoughts on Middara. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.